These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Hello, we are Footsies, and we created a electromechanical medical shoe. The shoe is designed to help people with drop foot. Drop foot is a serious issue that affects people all over the world. It's caused by a variety of things, including MS, diabetes, stroke, knee replacement surgery, and what it does is it inhibits the patient from lifting their foot up and down. This can cause a lot of problems while they're walking. They slam their foot, they drag their foot, it can cause them to trip, and it affects so many people that there's really a great opportunity to create something to fix it.
So to talk about footsies, we're first going to talk about gait cycles. A gait cycle is the process of how you take a step. It starts with your foot in the air, with your heel towards the ground. As your heel approaches the ground, it strikes the ground, known as the heel strike stage, and then your foot lowers to the ground. It's stationary there during the mid-stand stage, and then as you're lifting during the toe-off stage, it's lifted again for the mid-swing. With foot drop, however, the patients aren't able to lift their foot, which leads to it dragging on the ground, slapping on the ground, and another series of difficulties for them. With footsies, however, it's corrected. So to step through our gait cycle in a bit more detail, during the heel strike stage, the distance sensors and accelerometers are sensing as you're approaching the ground, and note when to drop the foot. During the mid-stand stage, the foot is stationary, and then during the toe-off stage, the distance sensors and accelerometer again come into play as they're sensing it when you move away from the ground in order to lift your foot for you during the mid-swing stage.
While developing footsies, we made sure to include recent technological advancements to create a new type of orthosis. That includes the Internet of Medical Things, which allows us to send gait data from our accelerometer into the cloud for physicians to check the data afterwards. In addition, we designed our prototype for design for 3D printing, which allowed us to customize it as we went. We took a very iterative approach to our product development process, so we could keep our mechanical and electrical subteams on the same page, as well as have a physical prototype for our stakeholders to give us feedback on. We made sure to keep in mind all of the ethics and regulatory standards while developing our final design, such as packaging for our battery and electronics so that they would be protected under the user's weight. Footsies is an integrated smart shoe and paired activity tracker that improves the daily mobility for foot drop patients. There are two sensors on the bottom of the shoe, one in the front and one in the back of the sole, that tell the shoe how far away it is from the ground. The custom PCB then turns the motor, pulls on the cable, and lifts the shoe to clear the ground during the mid-swing stage of the gait cycle. All of our components, such as the motor, distance sensors, battery, and custom PCB, are enclosed in the midsole layer of the shoe, which is below the foot and above the sole. We've been developing a paired activity tracker for data visualization of the recovery process. For the user, they can see their step count on different days. The family can receive trip alerts for if their loved one has fallen and not gotten up in a certain amount of time. And doctors can actually analyze the gait data and have a quantitative way to log data over time to track their patient's improvement.
So we looked at some market data, and we found out that global orthopedics market data is indicating that the overall orthopedic sports systems market is expected to grow to $5.8 billion by 2025. And we also looked at some of the main competitors in the market and found out that the most dominant one is functional electrical stimulator, that is basically sending an electrical stimulation to the muscles to be able to make the muscles move and hence force the patient to move the leg. But it is not very comfortable to wear. We looked at other alternatives in the market, and we find out that the other one is ankle-foot orthosis, that is basically not providing any mobility but just a passive brace keeping the feet in the same location. The other one is powered exoskeleton that is not available for public use. It's only available in laboratory settings and very expensive, even though it's providing some mobility. And we came up with a product that is providing mobility at a reasonable cost, which is going to bring us a very positive competitive advantage.
Thank you. We're Footsies. We don't lift spirits, we lift souls.